Hi, my name is Patrick Smit, and this is my land lesson for the Ontario Sailing Instructors Clinic. My topic today is right-of-way, and I have two students here with me that will be learning along the way. So, today we're going to learn the right-of-way in sailing, and basically just the rules of the road when you're on the water. When you're on the water, this is just a question. Feel free to say whatever you want. What do you think has the most right-of-way, and what do you think has the least right-of-way?
In a sailboat?
Just in general, which boats?
Okay.
So if there's this chart right here, where do you think there's four? I'll say there's 5 different categories. There's commercial ships, swimmers, paddle boats, sailboats, and power boats. Now, where do you think on this chart they would go?
Do you want to write them down on the side?
Yeah,
so
I'm going to write them down. Oh.
So I can see. I need to see.
Commercial. And for the purpose of this video, I would have a whiteboard, but I don't have a whiteboard, so I'm using paper. So again, there's 5 categories: commercial boats, power boats, swimmers, paddle boats, and sailboats. What do you think has the most right-of-way? As in, everything else has to move out of its way.
I'd say the sailboats.
You think sailboats are at the top?
Should I
Having the
not?
most right-of-way?
I'd say they have the least control.
I think swimmers.
You think swimmers? Okay, so it's very interesting. I'll tell you, sailboats is not at the top. Now, swimmers is... It makes sense. It makes sense. Swimmers are little people floating in the lake. Makes sense that everyone else has to avoid them. Just like on the road, pedestrians have the right of way, and cars and bicycles have to avoid them. However, on the water, a commercial vehicle, a ship, which constitutes a boat that is longer than 20 meters long, has a right of way over everyone because it's less maneuverable. Plus, it's a commercial ship transporting something from one place to another place, doing its job, so you have to get out of the way. So, commercial ships have right-of-way over everything. If you're a sailboat, you have to move out of the way of commercial ships. So, we've got commercial written down here. What do you think has the next most right-of-way?
I don't know.
You don't know? So, power boats, swimmers, paddle boats, and sailboats.
I'd say
Paddle boats.
Actually, maybe you had this right before. It's swimmers.
Yeah. Oh.
Swimmers are what come next because they have the least control. I mean, obviously they can control, but swimmers. There we go. They have the least control, and it would be the hardest for them to get out of the way of another oncoming vessel. So, now we've got 2 written down. Okay, now what do you think the third one is? We have power boats, paddle boats, and sailboats left.
power boats.
Paddle boat.
You think power boats have the next most right of way?
No, I don't. I'd say they're last.
I think you're right when you say that power boats are last. Now, a power boat has the most maneuverability, can move the fastest, so it can get out of anything's way at any time, in any place, in pretty much any conditions. Because, I mean, in 5-foot waves, a swimmer would have difficulty getting out of the way of say, a power boat. But a power boat would have no problem just going around, whatever.
And
So, now we're left with paddle boats and sailboats.
I say paddle boats is the next most.
Most?
Like, here.
Yes, that is right.
Because they're not very maneuverable.
Exactly. So paddle boats and then sailboats is the last one. And this is what we have come up with. Now, just the explanation, paddle boats is kind of a broad thing because it incorporates kayaks, canoes, rowing boats. But yeah, the gist of it, so commercial ships have the most right of way, and then swimmers, then paddle boats, sailboats, and power boats have the least right of way. Now, it's important to remember a couple things when you're sailing around commercial ships. What do you think some common sense things, if you were sailing and there was a ferry, let's just draw this out for a second. Here's your boat, and there's a big channel right here, and there's a ferry that goes from here to there. I'm just going to show that to the camera. Here's the sailboat right here, and this is the channel right here, and this is the ferry's route from, I don't know, it's my left to right. What do you think some just precautions that you should take are, if you know that there's going to be a ferry there?
I would say no if it's going to come by type thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
like always be looking out.
yeah.
Look out for the boat and always be aware of where you are compared to the boat, so then keep like a distance from it.
Yes, exactly. And then as well, stay out of the path. If you know that the ship is going to be coming, across, then you can just choose to stay out of its path, and you wouldn't risk a collision with it. Okay, so now on to some more technical sailing-related stuff based on right-of-way. So the first thing is port versus starboard. You guys both know starboard's the right, port is left. That's review, just making sure you know that. So here's our hypothetical situation. This boat right here is on a starboard tack, and this is on a port tack, and here's the wind. So I'll show that to you. This guy's on a starboard tack, he's on a port tack, and here's the wind. Now, basically, starboard always, when you're going upwind, starboard always has right of way, which means that this boat on port will have to duck this boat on starboard. So you see that? He's keeping a straight course, and this boat on port is going to have to come below his stern and then head back up again. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, when you're going upwind, starboard always has right of way. Now we can go up a little bit in difficulty. So windward versus leeward. Now, windward, again, means upwind, and leeward means downwind. So if the wind is coming from, I don't know, here the wind is coming from the top of the page, this sailboat is windward because it's further upwind, and this sailboat is leeward because it's downwind. This rule has to do with which direction the boat is traveling. Now, this boat is heading upwind, and this boat is heading downwind, as you can see from the wind direction. And now, the upwind boat will always have right of way over the downwind boat, no matter what. If it's on, doesn't matter if it's on port and the downwind boat's on starboard, the upwind boat will always have right of way. Okay, so you understand that. And now the other windward versus leeward lesson is the boat that is downwind of the other boat will have right of way. So in this situation, this boat, the one that's circled, will have right of way. So, you understand that? You understand the concept of windward, leeward. So again, the boat traveling upwind always has right of way, and the boat. So again, going back to this boat is leeward. So the leeward boat always has a right of way, and if you're traveling upwind on a collision course for one going downwind, you are obviously leeward of the first boat, of the windward boat. Now the final rule of the road is about overtaking. So basically, when one boat is overtaking another one, so for example, this boat here is traveling faster than this one and is going to pass it, it has to stay totally clear of this one. It is, when you're passing a boat, you have to be totally clear of them. You cannot touch them at all, or it's your fault.
But the flags are...
Those are sails.
The sails, are pointing outwards towards each other.
Exactly.
So when they're
So
passing, it would be harder
you're going to have to go
pass.
way out to the
Yeah.
side. And that's something you'll learn more when you get into the higher levels and start racing. But the upwind, excuse me, the upwind boat that is trying to overtake this downwind boat will have to give way because whatever. It's overtaking this boat, so it will have to give way. We're just going to do a couple examples. Now, I'd like you, Julian, do this one on the left. Now, just so you remember, I don't know how comfortable you are with sailing terms. When the boat's sails are on its port side, it's on a starboard tack, and when the sails are on the starboard side, it's on a port tack.
Yeah.
So, why don't you go ahead and just circle or draw a path for this? No, sorry, circle which boat you think has right of way. Okay, and that's perfect. Let's just show that right here. And now draw a path for the other boat to like what it should do. That's perfect. That other boat should duck the first boat and then head back up. Now, Natalie, I'd like you to do the second one. Which boat do you think has the right of way?
That one.
Perfect. And now the path of the other boat. Great. So there's the path for the one on the right. Okay, so that's perfect. So you guys are pretty comfortable with that. Starboard always has the right of way.
Mm-hmm.
The wind is coming from the top of the page.
Mm-hmm.
Which boat has the right of way?
That one.
Perfect. And now, just give an example. If this boat is on a fast course headed this way, what do you think this boat has to do?
I would go that way.
That is perfect. So, again, this boat is leeward of this boat, so this boat that is windward has to go around the leeward boat to avoid it. Now, Julian, why don't you do the second example? This is a little bit more difficult. Imagine that this boat is coming extremely fast, okay? So it looks that this one could clear it, but he can't. They would crash if they both continued going straight. Which boat has right of way?
This one.
Perfect. And you remember why that is?
Because it's leeward of the other bits.
Exactly.
It's
And now what kind of course do you think this guy would have to do to avoid a collision? That is perfect again. So as you can see, this boat.
If the boat coming up is going fast, then he can just go down a tiny bit. And
Yes, exactly. Now that's something that you'll see when you're on the water, is you can anticipate how fast the other person is going, and you will be able to only alter your course a little bit because you know they'll be coming in front of you. We've got two more examples here. Almost the end. So this boat here is, pretend it's moving very slowly. The sails are let out, but it's pretty much stopped. And this boat is coming up. Now, who do you think has right of way? Now, that's interesting that you do that because this boat actually has right of way because this one is seeking to overtake the other one. I think you understood what you were doing. However, you just circled the wrong one. This one is trying to pass, so the one that's moving slower has right of way, and this one will have to avoid this at all costs. And why don't you do this one? So again, we've got two coming downwind. Which one has right of way? Exactly. So this one will have to stay completely clear. And finally, just a limitation of rules of the road, kind of something you have to remember, an exception, is that you're not allowed, if you have right of way, you're not allowed to alter your course to mess with them, to hit them, right? If you're both tracking fine and you have right of way, you can't alter your course to hit them and give them a penalty. So you have to remember, if you have right of way, just stay. You have right of way. If they hit you, it's their fault. However, you're not allowed to alter your course. So that is our lesson on rules of the road. So just a recap, can you guys brainstorm the kind of three general rules we had?
Okay, so there was
one to do with port and starboard.
Okay.
Who has right of way?
The boat with wind coming at their starboard has the right of way.
Yeah.
And then the windward and leeward, the leeward has the right of way.
Yes, exactly. And when you're overtaking?
The boat that is being overtaken has the right of way.
Exactly. So those are the three main lessons on rules of the road.